All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to unpack a really fascinating modern story that asks a pretty provocative question. Is the whole point of spiritual guidance to save us from our problems, or is it to teach us how to master them ourselves? So, our story kicks off with a challenge. A character named Evan is listening to a teacher talk about all these ancient hidden mysteries, and he cuts right to the chase with his question. And it's such a great place to start because, let's be honest, it's what a lot of us are thinking. And here it is, the heart of his argument. Evan isn't just trying to be a skeptic for the sake of it. He's pointing to this huge gap between ancient wisdom and modern life. He's saying, look, young people today are dealing with crazy complex issues: AI, social media, mental health struggles like depression, questions about identity. So how does some 2,000-year-old text help with that? He's basically begging for something relevant. Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. The teacher, this character named Lord Blue, he doesn't get defensive, he doesn't shut Evan down. Instead, he completely reframes the entire purpose of these teachings. He's about to flip our whole idea of what a savior is supposed to be. So this is the central debate right here. On one side, you've got the story we're all familiar with. The savior as this, socialist benefactor who comes in and just cleans up all our messes for us, pays our debts, fixes our mistakes. But Lord Blue offers a totally different take. What if a savior is actually more interested in teaching you self-mastery? The difference is huge. It's rescue versus empowerment. And to get this big idea across, Lord Blue doesn't give a lecture. He tells a story, a really simple parable about a mother and her child. And this story is the key to everything. It's going to show us, step by step, how a relationship built on constantly being rescued can actually create a lifetime of helplessness. So let's walk through this thing. We're going to see how this dynamic, which starts out so innocently in childhood, just grows and evolves over an entire lifetime, creating this feedback loop that is incredibly hard to break. The parable plays out in 4 stages, and with each stage, the stakes get higher and higher. It starts small, with just a messy playroom, but it snowballs all the way to demanding a free mansion. And watching this progression is, well, it's pretty eye-opening. So it all starts here. Super innocent, right? The child has a messy room. But listen to the language. My best friend, janitor. The expectation is set from day one. My job is to make the mess. Your job is to make it right. It's cute, but it's the tiny seed that the whole problem grows from. And the mom's response? It comes from a place of total love, of course, but by saying, that is my job, she, without even realizing it, validates that belief. She basically says, you're right, I am responsible for your happiness and for cleaning up your messes. Flash forward to the teenage years. The pattern is exactly the same, but the messes are getting more serious. It's not about toys anymore. Now it's about money, about debts, and the first instinct is still to turn to mom to make it go away. Now this is a really critical moment. The mom pays the debt, she continues to serve. But for the very first time, she asks a question. Are you ready to pay your own debts? You can feel her starting to nudge him, trying to plant a seed of self-reliance, even as she's still enabling the old pattern. But is he ready? Nope, not even close. Now he's in college, and the requests are just getting bigger. The pattern is so locked in at this point that asking for a massive bailout for tuition just feels completely normal. It's just what happens. And here it is, the grand finale, the logical conclusion of this entire cycle. He's not just asking for help anymore, he's asking for a life completely free of any responsibility at all. The free mansion says it all. And look at that last line. He thanks her for saving him from his own life. The cycle is perfectly and tragically complete. All right, so now that we've seen this whole life cycle play out, the story asks us to zoom in on one specific sentence. Because this isn't just about a kid and his mom, it's about a core belief, a lie really, that holds so many of us back. This is it. This is the engine that drives the whole parable. At every single stage, this is the unspoken belief underneath it all. I can't do it. I don't have what it takes. Only you can fix this. It's the ultimate self-limiting belief that keeps him completely stuck. And you know what? There's actually a real psychological term for this: learned helplessness. It's a well-documented phenomenon. When you repeatedly experience a situation where you feel powerless, you eventually stop trying to change it, even when you actually do have the power. The child in the story has learned that his messes just get cleaned up by someone else, so he never learns to clean them up himself. So if that's the diagnosis, I lack the skills and power, what's the cure? Well, the story doesn't just leave us there. Lord Blue shows us there's a way out, a path to break that cycle. And here's that radical idea again. What if faith isn't about looking outside yourself for a handout? What if instead it's about looking inside and trusting that you already have the power in you to handle your own stuff? It's a total shift from begging for a rescue to focusing on your own personal growth. This slide just nails the mental shift, doesn't it? It's so simple, but it's profound. You go from a fixed statement, I lack the skills, to a growth statement just by adding one tiny word, yet. I don't have the skills yet. That one word changes everything. It opens the door to learning, to practice, to actually becoming powerful. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this shift from depending on others to taking personal responsibility. It's about starting to see your challenges not as problems to be saved from, but as opportunities to learn something new. And it suggests that maybe, just maybe, the best way to help someone isn't to do everything for them, but to empower them to do it for themselves. And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. What if the whole point isn't to have someone take our burdens away? What if the point is to have someone, a teacher, a mentor, a friend, show us that we already have the strength to carry them on our own? What if we have the power to meet our own responsibilities? Something to think about.